The state that one dominantly occupies is the deciding factor behind what an individual will manifest. So of course, our aim when manifesting is to get into the desired state and, if we can, stay there. Now, many people have troubles with the idea of A, getting into the state, not sure on what a state is or how to enter it, and B, once they're in it, how do they stop themselves falling out? If this is a question that you're having, I highly recommend you stick out this video because I'm going to be explaining how to get into the state and how to stay there so you can best manifest your desires in the best way possible. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew and I am a mindset and manifestation coach. Now, the intention behind this channel is to make manifestation as simple as possible so that you can manifest your desires as effortlessly as possible. So if you feel that's something you need in a channel, I highly recommend you subscribe to this one and click that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos that may change your life. If you could drop me a like and a comment on this video, it really helps the algorithm, helps my channel grow, and helps get this message to more people. And of course, if you enjoy what you watched today and you want more help from me on a one-to-one basis, down below in the description is the links to all the services I offer that are guaranteed to help you on your journey. So I really look forward to working with you, to seeing all your amazing comments. Now let's get into this video. A state is actually a lot more simple than we give it credit. And I think that's due to mostly the fact that there's so many different people saying so many different things. But ultimately, your state, the thing we are aiming to enter, is a state of mind or state of being, depending on how you like to look at it. Now, we are constantly fluctuating states all throughout the day. Another way that you could look at it is your mood and what your mood is based upon. But let me give you an example of a state of mind, and this might give you a little bit of context about what I'm trying to get at here. Let's use the example of your working paycheck. So you work a 9 to 5, you know exactly how much you're going to get paid every single month because it's all calculated for you, you receive the same paycheck every month, it's all good. You know that you can pay for those bills, you know that you've got £100 spare, everything's fine. But you're comfortable. Your state of mind in that moment is comfort. But let's say Christmas has rolled around and your company have offered you a £300 bonus. That £300, due to the fact that everything else is already covered, is complete extra money to do whatever you want with. All of a sudden, you now start thinking of the possibilities. You're like, I could go here for dinner, we could go here, I could get the kids this, I could pay off my debt, I could do whatever it is. But all of a sudden, your state of mind goes from, comfortable paycheck to, wow, look at all the possibilities. Even though technically your reality hasn't changed because you're still just working that 9 to 5 job and so on and so forth, but that additional bit of money has changed the state of mind that you are in. You've gone from meh to abundant. This is a state. This is a state of mind. Of course, in this instance, based on a 3D change that has changed your state of mind, but nonetheless, this is a state shift just overall. You can occupy these state shifts without needing something from the external. And that is what we want to be getting into to aid us in manifesting. Now, of course, the state that you enter, your state of mind, is directed by the thoughts that you reside within. So affirmations, visualizations, all those kinds of things, they are all ways to help you get into the state. Think of them like modes of transport. You go from, let's use a relationship example, single, wanting your specific person. You start affirming that you're in a relationship with this person, and therefore that places you in the state of mind of being in a relationship with this person. Same thing with visuals, same thing with scripting. All of these different techniques are merely just modes of transport to go from not being in the state to being in the state. So if you've been doing techniques up to this point and I've now made this video, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. State is just the goal. The state of mind is what impresses the subconscious mind to which it gets to work, or the dominant state of mind is what impresses the subconscious mind to which it gets to work making it happen. To adjust your state of mind, you adjust your thinking, which can be done through affirmations and such. So you're all good. But how do we know the state of mind that we desire to get into? Well, of course, a little bit of planning prior to the process is necessary. If you're in a relationship or you desire to be in a relationship, you need to consider, how would I think, feel, and act if I was in this desired outcome? If you want to, get a pen and paper and write this down and kind of clear it out, or get the think, feel, and act sheet that is on my website. But how would I think, feel, and act if I had my desired outcome? Then you can get an understanding of what your state of mind would be in that situation. Let's say, for example, it is a relationship. Single, I currently think from the perspective of I'm not in a relationship, nobody wants me, or no one's texting me, or I don't have anybody, or oh, I need to start getting on dating sites so I can see people, and so on and so forth. But if I was in a relationship, my thoughts would be more along the lines of, I can't wait to see them tonight. I'm so happy that we're together. I look forward to being able to do this with them. Oh, this is a cool date idea that we could go on, just as an example. But your thoughts and your feelings would go from sadness and depression to calmness and peace. Your actions would go from getting sad every time you see your phone and there's no text to getting happy because there's a text. Things like that. These are all your state. The thoughts that you have, the feelings that you have, the actions that you take, they are all based upon your state of mind. Now, you don't need to actually have things on the external happen in order to address your state of mind in alignment with that of which you desire. You can consciously think as though something is already the case without it being the case. Kids do it all the time, and we can still do it too. We just lose the ability a little bit due to lack of usage, not because we've actually lost the ability to do it. But you can basically enact as if something is the case without it being the case in your mind. And by doing so and doing so consistently, my phone's falling. Sorry about that, my camera started to fall over, so it was just a weird cut, and I may just repeat over something that I just said, so I do apologize. But you can adjust your state of mind through changing your thinking, through changing your feeling, and through changing the actions that you take without needing something on the external. So that's what we're going to want to be doing from now. You want to ask yourself at any given moment when your desire comes to mind, if I was in my desired outcome, how would I think, how would I feel, and how would I act right now? And consciously change the thoughts, feelings, or actions to align with your desired end, depending on what it is that you're doing. If you're thinking like crap, how would I think right now? And then start think that new way. If you're feeling like crap, how would I feel right now? And try to consciously feel that new way. If you're acting like crap, i.e. stalking their Instagram, for example, ask yourself, if I was in my end result, how would I be acting right now? And then consciously act in that way, assuming it's not going to be pushing the 3D and putting you in a worse situation. But this is how you get into the state, because you'll understand what you're doing now that keeps you out of that state, and you'll understand what you need to start doing to put you in that state. By consciously putting yourself in the state through your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you're entering the state and therefore aiding your subconscious mind in being impressed. Of course, with the thoughts, if you want to do affirmations or visualizations, that's fine too. But I'm just going general with thoughts, feelings, and actions for now, for the purposes of covering everything. Now, you're in the state. You don't want to fall out the state, which is absolutely fine. But there is one thing that we need to understand. You are constantly fluctuating state based on your focus anyway. Which means, let's say, for example, you are focusing on manifesting a relationship. You get yourself into the state of a relationship. You enjoy it, it's all great. And then your manager calls you. Generally speaking, you will just go into whatever that conversation is with your manager. You'll be you in a call with your manager. You probably won't be thinking from the perspective of being you in a relationship on a call with your manager, because that's not where your focus is at that moment. So don't worry about not being able to carry this state through every single moment of the day. Your focus is constantly being shifted. The train of thought exists for a reason, and we know that our thoughts affect our state. Therefore, if your thoughts are changing, your state is. But you don't have to be in the state of being in a relationship all day, every day for it to work. You just need to be in that state more dominantly than you're not in that state when the desire itself comes to mind. I.e., if you're awake for 18 hours, you don't need to be in the state of being in a relationship for 18 hours. You just need to ensure that if you've been thinking about your desired your desired outcome for 2 hours, at least more than half of that is from the end result perspective, as though you're already living it, and that's the dominant state. So because of this, if you find your mind going to other things, that's fine. Let it. Assuming the last thing that you thought about of your desire was from the desired outcome, you're all good. Your subconscious mind is churning that information. And if anything, that's a good thing that your last thought was from the end result and now you're not thinking about it at all, because you're letting your subconscious mind get to work. Why do you think Neville Goddard recommended doing stuff at night as you're falling asleep? When you're falling asleep or when you've fallen asleep, your conscious mind isn't working. Therefore, you're not actively keeping yourself in the state, but your subconscious mind, because that's the last thing it had to go off of regarding that desire, is churning out that work. Same thing consciously. While you may still be awake, assuming you're not thinking about your desire, you're not doing anything to it. Therefore, if the last thoughts about it were from the end result, you're as good as gold. Don't know why I did the little finger pointy thing. But then, how do we get back into the state, or how do we stay in the state, as I mentioned earlier on in the video? Well, we do the state entering. Our thoughts go on to something else. Our thoughts now come back to that desire. We do the same process. Am I thinking from the perspective of having my desire? If yes, great, you've stayed in a state. If no, okay, how would I be thinking, feeling, and acting right now, depending on what's come to mind? And then you consciously start thinking, feeling, and acting, thinking, feeling, or acting, depending on what the situation is, from the perspective of having your desire. I know I titled it How to Stay in the State, but you would have a much better time. You would have much more success and freedom in the process if you come at it from the perspective of how can I be consistent with redirecting back to the state? No one, not even the most amazing manifestor in the world, maybe a few gurus, I suppose, like, you know, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Monks, that's it, I can think of it. Like maybe a few like monks that consistently meditate all day, every day, could probably stay in the state consistently. But us normal human beings that live normal human being lives, we can't stay in the state all day, every day. It's just not feasible. So what you want to be doing is placing yourself in the state of having your desire, and then be consistent with and successful at redirecting back to it. Place yourself in the state through your affirmations or through asking, how would I think, feel, and act? And then when you're done on that feeling, or all feels good, go on with your day. When it naturally comes to mind again, ensure that you're either in the state again, or you redirect your thoughts back to that desired state, and therefore reside within it, enjoy it, and then go on with your day. It's a rinse and repeat process, but once you get it down, once you get used to asking yourself that question consistently, it becomes so easy. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, drop me a like and a comment to let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my description if you're interested in any of my services, and I'll catch you lovely people in the next one. Bye-bye.